Hey up, nice little bit of Mozart there for a change. Right, I've got a review of a rather astounding ceramic infused automotive paintwork shampoo to run through today. This isn't it, this is some old footage because I just need a little bit of time to talk. Because over the last month or so I've been getting a lot of grief in the comments section about me being a shill. Telling me and everyone else that all these companies whose products I review, I actually work for them, they pay me to say good things. Apparently Royal Enfield not only pay me to say good things, they give me free motorcycles as well. And if you actually knew what my relationship with Royal Enfield is like, you'd realise just how ridiculous that is. Because this is just a small channel, it's fair to average. It's taken me 7 years of hard work and quite a lot of money to get to 110,000 subscribers, which in my book is actually quite pathetic. I've seen, channels giving out similar content that started 3 or 4 years ago, and they're already way beyond me. The reason being, they're better than me. Viewers engage with them better because of the way they present the content. I am what I am. Now, 10 years ago, having 100,000 subscribers probably made you a big cheese on YouTube, but these days, it means nothing. You're just one of those trees in a forest. So what I'm trying to say is this channel and me simply don't have the clout to be able to do deals with big companies that are lucrative for us. Really, I get nothing from anybody. I support myself with my police pension and I rely on ad revenue from the adverts that you watch when you're watching my videos, patrons on my Patreon page, and super thanks when people press that little button below the video that you're watching now. I think in those entire 7 years, well, it's 7 years next month that I've been running this channel, I've done something like 4 or 5 actual paid promotions. Bearing in mind what they actually offer you is about £100 for the video that takes 2 days to produce. No, sorry, not £100. $100 is usually what's offered. They pay you through PayPal, and by the time it actually arrives in your bank account, it's more like 65 quid. And for the most part, when you sort of work out the amount of hours that I put in a week compared to the amount of revenue this channel brings in, I'm working for about a third of what is considered the legal minimum wage here in the UK. And on top of that, I don't really get any holidays, certainly not paid holidays, again in those 7 years, providing I take a week off this Christmas, which I'm intending to do. I've had about 4 weeks holiday in 7 years. Now, I know people will say in the comments section, oh, don't worry about it, just let them get on with it. The problem is, this is social media, and social media is vicious and unforgiving. When these sort of comments start coming up regularly in the comments section of your videos, you have to do something about it. Channels have been destroyed by that kind of behaviour, and if you don't counter it and you go into free fall, there's nothing you can do about it. Now, as I say, it's been going on for a month or so and I haven't done anything about it up till now because I like to know what the source is before I say anything. And then last week, a couple of commenters let the cat out of the bag. There have been a series of videos, I think there's 2 or 3 videos put up by a small motorcycle channel with a small following, not aimed directly at me, but aimed at motorcycle channels in general, declaring us all to be shills. We're all on the payroll of the owners of every product that we review. None of us can be trusted, except of course for him, because he's different. And we all get big cuts for every product that we sell. Now, I'm not quite sure how he came up with that strategy because, it's a shaky basis for any channel. Really, what he's doing is discrediting himself for any progress that his channel makes in the future. He perhaps hasn't realised that yet. It's really limiting his own growth. Now, it's not aimed directly at me, as I've said, it's just all motorcycle channels in general. So, I think it's safe to say that some of these other channels on YouTube will be getting similar sort of grief. There's absolutely no need for it. I think I know what has happened because I've been through it. It is soul destroying in the first couple of years that you're running a YouTube channel. You know, he's trying to run the channel based on one motorcycle, which is only going to work short term. He's realised that he's going to have to start doing some reviews or something to keep the channel going. He's approached some manufacturers and he's been knocked back. They don't want to play, because he's not got a big enough audience yet for those sort of companies to show any interest in him. And then, as we've seen with other channels in the past, bitterness creeps in and they start to attack other people in an attempt to elevate their own status. It never works. In fact, from what I've seen, that usually spells the death knell of any channel. The only way forward in this game on YouTube is to continue putting the effort and the time in. That's the only thing that works. And if you're not prepared to do that, you shouldn't really be on here. Sorry to burden you with that, but it had to be said. Let's get on. Right, I get quite a lot of products sent through to me from Auto Bright Direct. In fact, far more products than I can possibly use or review, and that's another problem with, you know, this game. The logistics of dealing with all the stuff that you sent. It's not the dream that you might think it is. There's only so much stuff and equipment you can actually physically use. It doesn't matter how good it is, you know, you can't use all of it. A lot of stuff is just reviewed, I give an honest opinion on it, and then it's stored. It doesn't see the light of day again unless what I do tend to do is give it away to people. I don't sell it, that's another accusation that I get. Now, in the footage that you've just been watching, it was a review on Auto Bright Ceramic Magiseal, and that's the last time this car was treated, which was way back in May of this year. I've just checked the timestamp on the actual footage. That treatment is good, it's pretty tenacious, it gives good protection, and it lasts 3 to 4 months, but as you can see here, because it's not been treated since, it has now completely gone from the car. You know, the elements have eroded it away, and as you can see, the water is just clinging to the panels. This paintwork has no protection on it whatsoever. I know that this channel is a motorcycle lifestyle channel, and I know that I'm not showing you these products on motorcycles. That's because they live in a garage, and a product that outside might last a month, with the protection of a garage, it could last 6 months or a year. It's not a fair test of a product. So I always test these products on my car because it's exposed to the elements 24/7. And that is the only way to test the tenacity of any protective coating. Now, I've had this ceramic infused shampoo for, I think, about a month, and the main reason that I'm reviewing it today is because my partner needed to clean a car over the weekend. She pulled this out of a box without asking me, washed a car, and I was actually quite astounded by the results she got because she's not big into cleaning a car. This is one of the things that I love about collaborating with Auto Bright. They never put any pressure on me to do reviews on the products at all. I think for the most part they just trust my judgment and they send me stuff along to test so that I can let them know what I think to it, which is great for my ego because it's nice to know that someone else does value your opinion. I'll tell you how bad it gets. Earlier this year I pulled something out and told them that I was going to do a review on this particular product, and they actually had to ask me not to because they've discontinued and now have an improved product that's replaced it. And I'm sorry to say it's not the first time that that's happened with them or with other manufacturers. Right, just watch this. Now, like many of you watching, I've used and tested a lot of wash and wax type shampoos in the past. Some are great, some are not so great, but this is the most aggressive I've ever witnessed. Now, What is noteworthy with this is that they've designed it not to bead up. The water sheets off, which eliminates or at least minimises water spots, which is important if it's windy or if you're washing your car or your bike in warm weather. It also minimises manual drying of the paintwork, which a lot of professional valeters insist on. Now, just watching the timestamp as I'm editing this, that panel went from soaking wet as I took the hosepipe away from it to about 90% dry in 30 seconds. This is not speeded up. Now, to get an effective hydrophobic sheeting reaction is actually quite difficult to achieve. Most wash and waxes that we generally buy and use on our vehicles, the water beads up, which, yeah, it's really satisfying. It looks really nice, but it also leaves a lot of droplets of water, which, depending on the weather conditions, can be problematic. It also requires a lot of drying off afterwards. And I have to say that I wasn't filming this in optimal conditions. It was just below 5 degrees centigrade, it was freezing cold, it was windy, and it was raining at the time that I was doing this. I mean, I had no choice. The weather is what the weather is. I had to just get on with it. In fact, I couldn't even dry the car off at the end of the video. I gave up on that because it started raining too hard to actually get a nice glossy picture of the paintwork. Exactly the sort of conditions that you shouldn't really be cleaning a vehicle in, which makes this all the more amazing to me, because the weather conditions were just totally against this product working properly. Now, most of us, when we wash a vehicle, we will choose, decent weather conditions. At least we'll make sure it's dry so we can get the car nice and shiny and dried off and looking good. And what a lot of people don't realise is that most wash and wax shampoos rely on you actually drying the paintwork off and buffing it, because the coating that's left behind does need some time dry to set or fix. Otherwise, it doesn't function properly and it quickly washes off. Okay, we've not quite got to the clever bit yet, but I've been referring to this as a wash and wax. In actual fact, it's nothing of the sort. As the name on the bottle suggests, this is a ceramic infused shampoo. It's a high quality cleaning agent. As you can see, it's not particularly foamy or suddy, but you don't need foam or suds to effectively clean a vehicle. What is important about it for cleaning is that it does have very good deep cleaning ability, and it's also got good lubricating qualities. Despite the paintwork being dry and out of condition, the mitt was gliding over the paintwork as though you had a film of oil between your mitt and the paintwork. It's exactly the qualities that you need in a shampoo, because that minimises swirling and scratching. Autobrite recommend that you mix this shampoo with warm water, and it should be mixed at a rate of 400 parts water to 1 part shampoo. So in the standard 500ml bottle you should get about 40 washes. Now, generally speaking, I found with most Autobrite products 5 litres is more than enough to effectively wash the car. I usually have just under a quarter of a bucket of sort of dirty water left. And that sort of economy is achieved because it doesn't sud up too much. The more foam the sort of mix generates, the less volume of actual cleaning solution you have at your disposal, because a lot of it just turns into bubbles, which isn't an awful lot of use to you. Now, contained within this cleaning mix, what Autobrite Direct have managed to do is suspend a mixture of microscopic ceramic particles and what I believe is a copolymer resin. This adheres to the paintwork and leaves behind a protective film, a very thin protective film which they say should last between 2 and 4 weeks, depending on the conditions, depending on the condition of your paintwork, and depending on the sort of use that the vehicle's been put to. Now, that isn't a very long time. That's about what you would expect from a good quality wash and wax, but you're getting ceramic protection here, and you're applying it in a normal washing method. You're not having to go through any special steps or procedures. You're not having to go through any special pre-cleaning procedures, and you're not having to use any special equipment. This can simply be incorporated into your normal cleaning regime. There's no extra effort required. And I would hope that most people are washing the motorcycles at least once a month. And I should add, although I haven't tested any of them yet, this particular shampoo is designed to work in conjunction with their other ceramic products and assist in sort of longevity of those products by topping up the coating. And that's still not the clever bit. We still haven't got to the clever bit. Now, I don't like this kind of product that is designed to sheet up. In order to make the water sheet away, you have to diminish the properties or chemicals in the mix that create surface tension. Which generally means that you have to diminish the amount of protection that you're putting on the car. Okay, valeters love it because it saves them time, and so, you know, it increases profitability in a cleaning job. And my experience of sheeting products is that they don't last as long. You've already diminished the amount of protection available to you in order to get that effect, and it's only going to go downhill from there. In fact, my experience of products that sheet is that generally you're lucky if you get a week out of them. Should have realised that there was something special going on here by the rate at which this stuff sheets off, because with most normal sheeting products, it can take anything up to a couple of minutes for it to gradually creep off the panel. This stuff moves really quickly. It's very different from the myriad of products that I've tried in the past. And as I say, for a lot of these products to fix, they do need a period of buffing and dryness, even if it's only for half an hour, after the washing process for them to fix. The problem that I had is that it was raining while I was filming this. The rain intensified after I'd filmed it, and then it absolutely threw it down for about 18 hours after I'd completed filming. Now, I waited for about an hour because I was hoping that it would stop raining so that I could quickly dry the car off and get some beauty shots of the paintwork to complete the video. That wasn't happening. I also had to go out on some errands, which was about a 4-mile round trip, and I knew that in those weather conditions the car would be caked in filth by the time I got home, and you know, that would be the end of any more prospects of filming on this project. As I said, it wasn't ideal conditions for making this video. Everything was stacked against this working out right. Now, one useful piece of information that did come from that little errand that I had to go on with the car is that there's no smearing on the windscreen when operating the windscreen wipers in rain, so we're definitely not using any sort of silicons in this mix, which was a concern when I read that they were using some polymers. So there's no need to worry about getting this coating on the windscreen. So this morning, it was still raining when I got up at about 4:45. It stopped sometime after that, I'm not quite sure when, but it definitely stopped raining by the time I took Willow out for his walk at 8 o'clock. At about 8:30 when I came back, I had a look at the car and I was actually really surprised by what I saw. Now, normally, even if I'd waxed the car the day before and it had been given, you know, the right conditions to dry, etc., the back end would be coated in road film. I couldn't see any. So obviously this protective coating is really good at stopping dirt from adhering to the bodywork. The other thing is, the water was now beading up, which in my head means that surface tension has increased since it was applied. So what we seem to have here is a coating which on application gives desirable sheeting properties to, you know, make cleaning and drying easier. But then after that, as time goes on, surface tension actually increases. I'm still trying to get my head round it because I've never used a product of this type that reacts like that. Now, obviously, I haven't been able to test out Autobrake's claims that it will last 2 to 4 weeks, but I've got no reason to disbelieve them. They've never led me up the garden path before. But what I can say here is that, you know, first impressions, you've got a product here which gives very similar results to the application of a high quality carnauba wax, but without the hassle of applying it. Bearing in mind, all I did here was wet down a very dirty, and I'm ashamed to say neglected, car, wash it in a normal way with a shampoo, and then rinse it off. I didn't even dry it. And obviously this will work just as well on a motorcycle. You know, this shampoo is going to get into all the nooks and crannies that you can't reach, and it's going to spread that protection in those areas. Now, I know in the comments section I'm probably going to get some comments from people who they regard ceramic coatings as something that is bomb-proof, bulletproof and blast-proof, and it lasts forever. What they want is something that you put on the vehicle and then you never have to touch the vehicle again. The reality of ceramic coatings is that actually they're not that good. Some care is required. And even then, it depends on the quality of application and the quality or condition of the paintwork before application. The longevity of ceramic coatings is very dependent on a lot of different factors and usually a big wad of cash. And even then, there's no guarantees. But to my mind, with this product, if you want a decent degree of ceramic protection with that, you know, just wax look, but you want it to come easy with a minimum of fuss and application, this ceramic infused shampoo is well worth a try. Now, Auto Bright Direct have given me a 15% discount code, not just for this product, but for any product on their official UK website. That's 15% that you get off the product, off its normal purchase price, and I'd just like to make it clear, I will get absolutely nothing from that sale. And I'll leave that discount code in the video description down below. Now, once again, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this and my other videos. I really do appreciate it. I would also appreciate it if you would leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're not already a subscriber. I am, of course, going to be back next week, so until then, please, ride safely, and I'll see you soon.